Story 1. The Lantern in the Pines. I never believed in backwoods horror stories until I became one. My name's Jake. I'm 28 now, but this happened when I was 19. I grew up in western North Carolina, right where the Blue Ridge Mountains swallow the land whole. My granddad owned a remote cabin deep in the Pisgah forest where no cell service dared to crawl. It wasn't one of those quaint getaway cabins. It was raw, unfiltered wilderness. One summer, I decided to spend a week there alone. I needed to get away from everything. Breakup, family tension, college pressure. Nature, I thought, would be the cure. The first few days were pure peace. I fished, hiked, read by lantern light. But by the fourth night, something changed. It started with a sound. At around 2 a.m., I heard what I thought was a low whistle. Not the wind, no rustling trees, no shifting air. A deliberate human whistle, slow, patterned, 3 notes, then silence. I sat up in bed, frozen. There's no one out here, I reminded myself. I'm miles from the nearest trail. I shook it off, blaming an overactive imagination. But I didn't sleep again that night. The next night, I locked the doors and kept my flashlight and a hatchet beside me. I told myself I was being paranoid. That's when the light appeared. Through the trees, maybe 50 yards out, I saw a dim orange glow, like an old oil lantern. It bobbed up and down gently, someone walking with it. But it was too steady. No swaying of the shoulders, no uneven footing, just a perfect rhythm. Bob, bob, bob. I watched it for maybe 10 minutes, then it disappeared as if someone blew it out. Dead silence followed. At dawn, I hiked to where I saw the light. I marked the trees and estimated the spot, but there were no tracks, no flattened grass, no sign of anyone. I tried to leave that day, but my truck wouldn't start. The battery was dead, though I hadn't left the lights on. I was stuck another night. That night, the whistle returned. Same 3 notes. Then the light appeared again, closer now, maybe 20 yards from the cabin. I turned off all the lamps, sat in the dark, hatchet in hand, heart punching my ribs. Then came the knock. 3 slow taps on the cabin wall, not the door. The wall. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The knock came again. Lower this time, as if lower to the ground. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke at dawn on the floor, hatchet beside me, drenched in sweat. The truck started without issue. I drove like hell back to town. 2 years later, out of some twisted urge, I researched strange occurrences in the Pisgah area. There was an old legend, a tale of a man who vanished from his hunting cabin 100 years ago. The only thing left behind was his hatchet and a burnt-out lantern. They say if you see the lantern, he wants company. And if he knocks, it means he's already chosen you. I haven't been back since. But sometimes when I lie awake late at night, I hear that whistle, 3 notes, then silence. Story 2, where the trees hummed back. My name is Cassidy, and I used to lead weekend hikes through the 𝒂𝒗𝒏𝒄𝒆 National Forest for a group of wilderness therapy kids, mostly teens with rough homes or addiction recovery backgrounds. It was hard work, but I believed in it. I believed the forest healed. Until I met the one it never let go of. It was a late October trip, our last of the season. The trees were fiery red and gold, air crisp enough to bite. We had a group of 5 teens, me and one other guide, Ron, a retired firefighter with a gentle voice and iron will. We hiked out to a site called Split Rock Hollow, named after a massive boulder split clean in 2 like God took an axe to it. Camped there plenty of times. Nothing strange ever happened. Until this time. The first night, one of the kids, Marcus, asked if he could sleep in his own tent apart from the rest. Said he needed space. He was 16, quiet, kept to himself. I said okay. We set his tent near the edge of the clearing, still within sight of ours. Sometime in the night, I woke up to a low hum. At first I thought it was snoring. Then I realized no one snores in harmony. It was the trees. A deep, droning hum like a choir with no mouths. I stepped outside and the sound thickened, filled my ears like pressure underwater. My vision swam. Every hair on my arms rose. Marcus was standing outside his tent staring into the forest. "Marcus," I called. He didn't turn. I walked closer. "Marcus, are you okay?" He finally looked at me. His eyes were off, too wide, pupils dilated. He whispered, "They're singing to me." The next morning he was gone. No tracks. No broken brush. Just an unzipped tent and that eerie humming still echoing in my skull. We called for help. Rangers came, searched dogs, drones, nothing. But that night we heard it again. The humming, and then laughter, high-pitched, breathless laughter coming from the woods. One of the other kids swore she saw Marcus standing between two trees, smiling. But when we ran to where she pointed, nothing. No one, just leaves and dark. We cut the trip short, hiked back in silence, watching the trees. 2 weeks later, I got a letter. No return address. Just one sentence on plain white paper. "The forest doesn't heal, it collects." I haven't gone back, but every fall when the wind changes, I swear I hear humming from the hills. And sometimes I think I see Marcus standing just beyond the trees. Story 3. The Thing in the Ravine. My name is ʻLi. I'm from a little place in Oregon called Rogue River, real small town, barely a dot on the map. I work in forestry now, but when I was 15, I lived with my aunt and uncle for a summer, way out past the valley, near a stretch of woods locals just called Dead Ravine. Even then, the name gave me a chill. My uncle was ex-military, real no-nonsense guy. My aunt sweet but always tired. They took me in while my mom went through rehab. That summer, my uncle gave me a job, clearing old trails, repairing fencing, basic stuff. But he gave me one rule: don't go near the ravine, ever. Of course, I asked why. He just said, "It's not safe, the land's unstable, and there's something wrong about it." I stayed away at first, but then I found the trail camera. It was tucked behind some brush near the tree line. Not one of the ones I'd helped install. It was old, rusted, hidden. I popped the SD card into my uncle's laptop while he and my aunt were out grocery shopping. The footage was mostly static, grainy night vision, wind-moving trees. Then, around 2:43 a.m., the movement sensor triggered. Something crawled into frame. It was human, mostly, thin, naked, crawling on all fours, but its joints were wrong. Knees bent backward, arms too long. Its head hung low until it snapped up, staring right into the camera. Its eyes glowed, not from the infrared, like they were reflecting something that wasn't there. I shut the laptop. That night I heard scratching at the back door, then a tap, then nothing. I asked my uncle about the camera the next morning. He looked like I'd slapped him. He didn't say a word, just went into the shed and burned it. Camera, SD card, even the USB cable. Later that week, I broke the rule. I followed a deer trail into the ravine just past the boundary fence. At the bottom was a creek, mostly dried out, and a smell, like rot and metal. There were markings on the trees, long, vertical gouges, too high for any animal I knew, and a pile of bones, deer, rabbit, something bigger too. That night it came back. I woke to the sound of gravel crunching, something crawling up the driveway. It tapped on the window. I saw it for a second, silhouetted in the moonlight, wrong angles, no sound. Just breathing. My uncle came storming out with a rifle, but there was nothing there. Just claw marks on the windowsill, deep, clean, precise. We left the next morning. My uncle never spoke of it again. They moved within the month. I never went back, but I still work with trees. Still walk forests every day. And sometimes when the air goes still and the woods fall silent, I hear tapping right behind me.